My name is Clara. I'm 28 years old, and I live in a quiet neighborhood in Chicago called Lincoln Park. It's a peaceful place, with tall trees, small shops, and friendly neighbors. Many people say I have a good life. I have a husband, a nice apartment, and a stable job at a bookstore. But deep inside, I am not happy. Every day I wake up with a heavy heart. 1 year ago, I made a big mistake. I married a man named Jack. He is 32 years old. Jack is a good man. He is kind, gentle, and always smiles. But I do not love him. I married him not because of love, but because I was angry and sad. I wanted to forget my ex-boyfriend, Ben, who broke my heart. I wanted to move on quickly, so I said yes when Jack asked me to marry him. At that time, I thought marriage would help me feel better. I believed that maybe love would come later, but love never came. And now, I am the one who is hurting. Jack does everything to make me happy. He brings me flowers on Fridays. He cooks dinner when I feel tired. He writes small notes and puts them in my lunch bag. He calls me my sunshine and always kisses my forehead. Many women would feel lucky to have a man like him, but I feel sad because I cannot love him back. One night we were sitting on the balcony. The stars were bright and the air was warm. Jack looked at me and said, "Clara, I know you don't love me yet, but I believe you will. I will wait. My love is strong enough for both of us." His words made me want to cry. He was so full of hope. But I had no hope inside me. I felt like I was lying every day. I smiled when I didn't want to. I said thank you when I felt nothing. I was living a life that didn't belong to me. My mother once told me, "Clara, love can grow with time. Marriage is not always about strong feelings. It is about kindness, respect, and patience." I tried to believe her. I tried to be patient, but every day I felt more and more like a stranger in my own life. One Friday evening, Jack made a special dinner for me. He cooked my favorite dish, chicken pasta with garlic bread. He lit candles, played soft music, and even wore the blue shirt I liked. He said, "This is for you, Clara. Clara, you are my everything." I looked at him, smiled a little, and said, "Thank you." But inside, I felt empty. I could not enjoy the food. I could not enjoy the music. I felt like I was acting in a play, not living a real life. After dinner, Jack took my hand and said, "Let's go for a walk." We walked to the small park near our apartment. There, under the old oak tree, Jack had proposed to me 1 year ago. He smiled and said, "Remember this place? I told you I would love you forever." I looked at the tree, then at him. I wanted to scream, "I don't love you, Jack!" But I stayed quiet. I didn't want to hurt him. He looked so happy, so full of love, and I felt like a terrible person. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling for hours. I thought about my life, my choices, and my heart. I asked myself, will I ever feel happy again? The next morning, my best friend Nina called me. She said, "Clara, your voice sounds tired. Are you okay?" I wanted to say yes, but I couldn't lie, so I told her the truth. "I don't love Jack," I said softly. "I married him because I wanted to forget someone else, but I feel trapped now. I feel sad every day." Nina was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Maybe you need some space. Maybe time apart will help you understand your heart better." I shook my head. "It's not time, Nina. My heart just doesn't feel anything for him." Later that day, I sat with Jack on the sofa. I tried to speak. "Jack, I need to talk to you," I said. But before I could say more, he stopped me. "I know what you're going to say," he said quickly. "Please, don't give up on us yet, Clara. I still believe we can make this work." His eyes were full of hope again, and I felt worse. I didn't want to destroy his hope, but I knew I couldn't give him what he needed. I felt tired, like I was carrying a heavy bag every day. One Sunday, Jack asked me something that shocked me. "Clara," he said, "do you want to have a baby? I think it will bring us closer." I froze. I didn't know what to say. The idea of having a child with someone I didn't love scared me. I looked down at my hands and said quietly, "I'm not ready, Jack." He nodded slowly. He looked hurt, but he didn't push me. That made me feel even worse. He was always gentle, always kind, and I was always silent, always distant. That night, I wrote in my journal, "I feel like I'm drowning in this marriage. Jack is a good man, but I can't be the wife he deserves." I also wrote, "Sometimes I want to leave, but I'm scared. What will people think? Will they say I'm selfish? Will they say I didn't try hard enough?" One evening, I packed a small bag. I planned to leave. I looked at Jack while he was sleeping. He looked peaceful. He looked happy. I stood by the door holding my bag, but I couldn't do it. I put the bag down and sat on the floor. I cried quietly. The next morning, Jack made coffee for me. He kissed my cheek and said, "Good morning, my love. I believe in us." His words broke my heart again. I wanted to scream, "Stop hoping!" But I stayed quiet again. Days passed, and the weight of my silence grew heavier. Jack continued to be his loving, patient self, trying his best to make me happy. Every time he smiled, every time he whispered sweet words to me, I felt more and more like I was betraying him. I could see it in his eyes, his unwavering hope that one day things would change, but I couldn't change how I felt. One morning, while I was walking through the park alone, I saw an old couple sitting on a bench, holding hands. They were talking softly to each other, smiling as if they had lived a lifetime of memories together. I stopped for a moment to watch them. The love between them seemed so real, so effortless. I wondered if I would ever have something like that. The thought brought tears to my eyes. I missed what I had with Ben, my ex-boyfriend. We had shared so many dreams together, laughed at silly jokes, and talked about the future. But that was over. Ben had moved on, and I had to do the same. I had thought marrying Jack would be the answer, that it would make me forget Ben, but it hadn't. Now, I was stuck in a life that wasn't mine. I couldn't live this way anymore. I couldn't continue pretending. I needed to make a decision, one that would change everything. That night, after dinner, I sat Jack down. I looked at him, feeling my heart breaking with every word I spoke. "Jack," I began softly, "I don't want to hurt you, but I need to be honest. I don't love you. I don't feel the way a wife should feel. I've been trying to ignore it, but it's not fair to you or to me. You deserve someone who can love you the way you love her." Jack's face went pale. For a moment he was silent, his hands trembling slightly. His eyes searched mine, as though he was hoping it was all a bad dream, that I hadn't just said what he feared most. "But Clara," he whispered, his voice shaking, "I've always believed in us. I thought we could make this work. Please, don't leave me." I felt the tears well up in my eyes. I reached for his hand, but I couldn't hold on. "Jack, I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. You're a wonderful man. But I can't keep living this lie. I can't keep pretending I'm something I'm not. You deserve better." He pulled his hand back slowly, his face falling. "I don't understand," he said, almost pleading. "How can this happen? I thought we were happy." I shook my head, my own voice cracking. "We were happy in the beginning, but love, it doesn't work like that, Jack. I can't force it. I can't make myself feel something I don't." There was a long silence between us. Jack didn't speak, and I could hear the sound of my own heartbeat loud in the quiet room. Finally, he stood up. "I need some time to think," he said, his voice quiet and distant. I nodded, unable to say anything more. For the next few days, we barely spoke. The space between us felt as wide as an ocean. Jack spent most of his time at work, and I stayed in our apartment, going through the motions of daily life. It was the most difficult time of my life. I wanted to run, but I knew I couldn't. I had to face the consequences of my actions. On the 5th day, Jack came home early. He looked different. His face was pale, his eyes tired, but there was something new in them, something stronger. "Clara," he said, his voice steady but gentle, I've been thinking. I've been thinking a lot, and I've come to a decision. I think it's best for both of us if we separate. I don't want you to feel trapped, and I don't want to live in a marriage that isn't real. I stared at him, surprised by his calmness. His words hit me like a wave, but they also brought a sense of relief. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe again. "Jack," I started, but he interrupted me. "I'll always care about you, Clara," he said. "But I need to move on too. We both need to. We can't keep living like this." Tears filled my eyes, and I nodded. "I understand, Jack. I really do." And just like that, it was over. We spent the next few weeks dividing our things, quietly and without much emotion. Jack found a place to stay, and I stayed in the apartment. We didn't speak much after that. It was as though the air between us had cleared, but at the same time, it was heavy with the weight of what had happened. Months passed. I spent time focusing on myself, trying to heal from the emotional mess I had created. I took long walks in the park, visited friends, and started reading books I had put aside for too long. For the first time in a long while, I felt like I was living for me. One day, I ran into Ben, my ex. We were both at a coffee shop, and when I saw him, my heart skipped a beat. He smiled at me, and for a moment, it felt like time had stopped. But then, I remembered what I had learned. "I'm glad to see you," Ben said, his eyes warm. "How have you been?" "I'm doing better," I replied, smiling softly. "I've learned a lot about myself." We talked for a while, about life, about where we were now. It felt good to talk to him again, but I knew things had changed. We were different people now, and that was okay. When I got home that evening, I sat by the window looking out at the city. The sun was setting, and for the first time in months, I felt at peace. I had made the hardest decision of my life, and though it had broken my heart, it had also set me free. I had learned that love doesn't always come in the way you expect it. Sometimes you need to let go to find what's truly right for you. And as I sat there, I knew I was ready to start a new chapter of my life, one that would be mine and mine alone.